Alright, YouTube, welcome to installment number 5 of Kaput Avenue Studios pedal reviews. Now, we've already gone over some of the more common pedals that you can find, and one of the pedals that is a little bit more difficult to find on a regular basis. But what we're going to discuss today is probably one of the most sought-after pedals on the market today. And we're going to talk about everything this pedal does and how to make it sound great for you. Of course, I'm talking about the one pedal that is yet to get a solid review on YouTube, and that is the Akai Deep Impact. This is probably one of the most sought-after pedals on the market for a couple reasons. It is one of the best bass synth pedals on the market, meaning that you can just plug your bass into one side and plug the output into your amp and get some really fat synth sounds coming out of this pedal. It's a wonderful thing to have, but there are a few things that make this pedal difficult to own. One of which is the fact that, well, it costs about $1,000 right now. Yeah, 1,000 buckaroos. The second one is some people do think that it tracks not so well, which I don't understand. I completely disagree with them. But it is what it is. Because it is, I will say, a fanboy pedal, most people know that between Fish and Muse, this pedal's used all over the place. I even think that Jamiroquai may have used this pedal at one point in time. Don't quote me on that, and please don't go in the description and tell me how much of a dumbass I am for saying that. But this pedal is very, very usable in so many different places. And today I'm going to show you guys, not only give you a quick review of the pedal and show you what some of the sounds actually sound like, but I'm also going to go through and show you how to get those sounds to sound the way they do. I'm also going to post a link in the description. I'm going to give you an email address that you can contact. Hopefully I can get this set up. I'm going to give you a link that you can get to that has a file. I have an Excel spreadsheet with a bunch of different settings for this pedal set up. I've normally made it available for TalkBass, and I may still do that exclusively. But there are about, I'd say, 35 different settings that we have from different users and everything else. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over a few of the things that I have in here. We're going to show you how the pedal's controls react to certain things. Now, the first thing that you need to understand about this pedal is that it is very dependent on clean playing. Okay? You have to learn how to play clean. Setting 1 is a very, 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 very edgy synth one. The presets are called as follows: Dark Bubble, Hardcore, Kitara Bass, Bright Synth, Brats, Fat Bottom, Magistry, Hot Space, and Hiccups. And they are what they are. Number 1 is the setting that I believe is used for Time Is Running Out. No matter what you do with it, for the most part, unless you go extreme settings, it's going to sound close to that sound. And I believe that this one is, well, it's been tweaked a little bit. Yeah, it's been modified. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this up here and give you a taste of what setting 1 looks like. And as I said before, I think it's, time is running out. That's preset number 1. It is modified. There are some different settings in there, and I can actually show these settings off to everybody if you wanted to. But typically, generally messing with the sound, you're not going to get too far off of the original sound for it to be anything different than what the sound is. But you can make it very your own, I should say. The controls are as follows. This is a program up button, and then you've got the on-off switch. So off is obviously there. It is true bypass. On, red light appears. When you hit when the pedal's on, okay, and you start playing, you can actually switch your presets by going program up, and you'll see it blinking while it's still on the first preset. And then when you click, and then while you're playing, if you click the on-off switch again, it'll switch to 6 rather than turning off. So you got some pretty good stuff going on there. Now, okay, so we've gone over setting 1. I'm going to go to setting 2 here. And for some reason, mine is geeking out a little bit. And that's another problem that I've noticed about Deep Impacts. They tend to geek out a little bit, but I think I've sorted it. This is preset number 2 with some modified things going on. Okay, let's go to preset 3. Preset number 4. Preset 5. We've already heard 6, but I'll throw it on there anyway. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. So there you go. Those are your presets. Now, because I know what this pedal can do, unfortunately mine is acting out, I'm going to give you a rundown of the middle parameter knob, which is what makes or breaks this pedal. The 2 outer knobs here is input level and output level, and my bass is so hot, apparently, that even with this all the way down, I still peg it. Maybe that's the secret to getting good tone out of it. I don't know. The output knob doesn't do anything to the thing other than it's like a volume knob for the other pedals, and you can adjust. Now there's another software way to do it here in the parameters knob, but you've got 2 settings here that are very, very important and are make or break the way that this pedal sounds. Note off and note on. Now in some cases, if the pedal starts wigging out, you may actually lose definition of what the preset and the note on level are. You can see they both list at 1, and that's 9. And for some reason, this one's slowly moving, which is showing me that it's showing the preset. Note, or the note on and note off preset, every click should change it. Okay? If it doesn't, this is your preset. You can see that I'm moving it a lot, and it's only moving a little bit. Note on and note off are very, 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 very important. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So note on and note off make a big difference in the way that the sound works. It's basically about your attack and release on the actual bass and how you play. You can fine-tune it and tweak it to how your attack and decay is, or how you actually finger things. So with it down all the way, you can see that it tracks pretty well, even with it all the way up. So you have to fine-tune your note on and your note off. One of the more important settings here is preset, because just because you have 9 presets doesn't mean you have to keep all 9 sounds in here. You could have 3 of 1, 3 of 3, and 3 of 7 if you wanted to, and just signify them by the actual number and remember them. You've got a couple other settings around the outside. You've got an attack, decay. This is known as envelope depth, dynamics, cutoff, resonance, balance, and level. Now, balance and level are interesting because balance is the balance between dry through and the synth. Okay, if I go all the way down to 1, you can see that 5 is 50-50. But if you jack it up to 9, you get all synth sound. And level is the volume output before this knob. 9. So I typically tend to leave it between 6 and 9. I like making all of them equal unless one is really, really hairy. Then I turn one down based on the actual sound that it's making. But we're going to go through this, since this is a preset that I don't care about. We're going to go through and look at some of the settings here and see what we can make happen. I don't understand why that's 2. Let's put all of them at 5. Okay, so every setting is at 5. We're going to go at attack. It looks like attack is taking your attack and telling it what the envelope or what the actual synth should do with it. Now decay is similar. If you jack this all the way up, it's more, I guess, for the difference between short notes, very staccato sounding, and then sustained notes. Now, envelope parameter it really shows what it really shows how you can manipulate the actual sound of the synth part that you're trying to get in there. So there you go. This is one of the main settings that changes everything. But if all the other ones are modified and this one's normal, it's going to be completely different sounding. It's so important, yet it's not important, if you understand that. The next one we're going to go to is dynamics. Hear how that, as you raised it up, it got more hairy and more trebly. Gives you a good idea of what those settings can do for you. This next one is cutoff. And cutoff, I think, modulates what's inside the actual synth and changes how fast and how abrupt the cutoff of the synth part is. There's a resonance. You can see that changes the ball game as well. We already talked about balance and level, but balance obviously, and level again. Turn this all the way up. Now, we know from looking at this pedal and seeing what every knob does and what every parameter does and how it affects the sound, we get an idea on how to build certain sounds. So, I've seen a lot of people, they start with their attack and their decay, and I actually go a different route. I normally start backwards at resonance. cutoff. Maybe 4. Let's give it a bit of dynamics. That's not too bad. Let's slam that down a little bit. And we'll jack up the attack. Now, what you just saw was a sound being built. Is it going to win a Grammy? Probably not. But it is a pretty interesting sound, and it's very unique in that you can go through and manipulate certain parts of the synth pedal to create a different part of, or a different sounding synth. It gives you more options than some of the others that are out there. So there you have it. One of the most comprehensive reviews on the Deep Impact that I've ever seen on YouTube. Aside from going through every preset and every parameter and showing you how they affect the sound, there's limitless possibilities in the combinations here. Realize that for every one of the 9 parameters, there's 9 settings. So there's 81 different ways that all those can be set up. And on top of that, if you set one of them at 9 and the other one at 1, and then go and switch a different one to 2, you just change the entire sound of the pedal. It may be subtle, but you change the sound. The fact is that the pedal is so in-depth without being able to program on a computer that it just takes some real user experience to get into this pedal. I have amassed over the years, I think it's been the past 4 or 5 years since I've owned mine, I have amassed a collection of sounds and settings that I found on the internet. I've asked other users, I've even created some of my own, and I've gotten some of the stars who use this pedal's actual presets by doing some digging and investigating. And I've put them together and I've made an Excel spreadsheet that I want to make available to everybody. It's something that I don't actually have the ability to host at this point, but I can allow access through email. And for anybody that's interested, I will send this this specific Excel spreadsheet out for you. Don't fall into the trap of having to buy a user manual. If you buy one of these and it doesn't come with the manual on eBay, don't spend the $30 for the PDF and the copy that somebody did at FedEx. It's useless. It's absolutely useless. All you have to do is remember to set your note on and note off to be the same. Now those affect everything in the range. And then the rest of the parameters are independent of each other. Make sure that you set your input gain and your output to be favorable so that you're not constantly hammering the red light, and you should be pretty good and well on your way to getting really awesome, thick 80s synth tones. But a word of caution, this pedal is expensive. 4 years ago when I got mine, I paid $450 and got it shipped from Canada. It took 2.5 weeks to arrive. It was boxed wonderfully, and it worked beautifully out of the box. However, in those 4.5 years, I have had to keep up with maintenance, cleaning it, making sure all the solder joints are perfect, making sure that there's nothing there that's a danger to breaking it. Nowadays, though, you can't get one for $450. Nowadays, if you go on eBay and you type in Akai Deep Impact, you will find that they are selling in upwards of $1,200. $1,200 for 9 presets. It's a very steep price to pay, and to be honest, at this stage of the game, if I were buying one, I wouldn't be spending $1,200. You can go on Talkbase or Craigslist, potentially, and find somebody selling them for cheaper, but I have yet to find one in reasonable condition for less than $600 for the past 4 or 5 months. So if you have one and you want to make some coin, now's the time to sell and definitely get some of your money back. It's ironic, isn't it, that back in 2001 when this pedal was discontinued, that places like Guitar Center were putting these out on clearance for a mere $99. And you can now buy one in a box that's been used and stomped on and smells like beer and cigarettes for $1,000, and it's your only alternative. In comparison to other synth pedals, it's wonderful. It ranks up there in the top 3. The 3 biggest hitters are going to be the Korg G5, the Akai Deep Impact, and the Electro Harmonix Bass Micro Synth. Now there are a few programmable ones that have come out in recent years, like the Chunk Octavus Squeezer. While they rate pretty high on the scale of user ability because you can program them on your computer, I've heard mixed reviews about the sounds that they make. While the Deep Impact, the Korg G5, and the Bass Micro Synth are limited to what they can actually do to say 9 presets or no presets, but they have a couple sliders, these new ones, while they're computer controlled, they're so limitless that it's very difficult to get the sound that you're looking for. And when you find it, sure, it's great, but from what I understand, a lot of people haven't been able to duplicate some of the sounds that these make. These are true synth sounds. Is it worth it? Well, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 dollar sign rating because, let's be honest, $1,000 average price right now is extremely expensive for a pedal that, let's be honest, has no place in rock music really, unless you're a Muse fan or a Fish fan. It's more of a funky kind of thing you can use, and you can use it to duplicate keyboard sounds, make some interesting cover sounds, or cover tunes with different sounds and whatever, but it's definitely an oddball pedal, and for $1,000 I would say it's not worth the money unless you absolutely have to have the pedal. So, in conclusion, if you have one, look a little deeper. You may find that there's a sound in it that you're looking for. If you don't have one, start saving your pennies. Get a second job. You may even have to take out a second mortgage. But if you end up getting one, because you really want one, it is well worth it. Just don't give up on it, because this pedal is one of those that has a learning curve. Definitely try out different settings. Definitely play with everything you possibly can, and don't get frustrated. And if you need to, contact me. You can contact me through YouTube, and I will, once you provide me with the email address, I can forward you some popular settings that are out there that I've put together into an Excel spreadsheet. And we're actually looking for more settings. So this is a call to everybody out there. If you have a Deep Impact and you like the review, or you want to submit your sounds and settings to the Excel spreadsheet to further the community's ability to use great presets with Deep Impact, please do not hesitate to contact me. That's it for this pedal review. I'd like to, again, thank YouTube and thank all of my viewers and all my subscribers. Keep tuning in. We're going to have a few more coming soon. Until then, signing off. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.